Good morning. Welcome to the Saturday live stream. It is Saturday, August 8th. How's it going? How is everybody doing? My name is Angela. I'm a front-end developer and a software engineer in St. Paul, Minnesota. On this channel, we mostly do vanilla. I think at this point we could probably say it's fair to, we could probably start saying that the front end layer will be vanilla, HTML, CSS, and JavaScript. Last several weeks, we have definitely been doing a deep dive into agentic workflows, building out backends, building full stack apps. We're on our second full stack app, which is a database of Jane Austen's books. Jane Austen, her books are in the public domain. She wrote six novels. 2 were published after she died. There have been additional things published, like collections of letters, unfinished works, things like that. We're actually not including those. We're building the database using the 6 kind of core novels that she's really well known for. Yeah, and it's been an adventure. So I kind of just want to jump right into it real quick and just catch you up on something that I figured out last night. So I'm just going to digress for a moment here. So during yesterday's stream, I was just sort of lamenting how what's the word that I'm looking for? Tedious the process is. I really need ChatGPT to help me with these prompts. I mean, this is like these workflows, and I don't think agentic is the right way exactly. Codex is not a true agent. That's not really what an AI agent is, but for the sake of this discussion, we're going to call it an agent or an agentic workflow. And really, this is like prompt engineering. So, I need ChatGPT to help me write these prompts. I feel a lot of pressure to get the requirements right and to get the prompts right and to make sure that we are prompting efficiently to save resources. I'm on the $20 a month plan. I have no interest in bumping up to the $200 a month plan. So we need, and I haven't run into rate limits at so far in any of the work that I've done in Codex, but it doesn't mean that I want to be careless with my tokens and my usage. So I feel a lot of pressure to use ChatGPT to get these prompts right. I don't want to wing it. I want things to come out right the first time. I'm sure the ChatGPT has limits. If it does, I don't know what they are. They don't tell us what they are. I can't find any hard and fast information on what they are. And I know I can speak from my own experience that I talk to ChatGPT a lot most days. And to my knowledge, I have not been cut off or throttled. So it seems like most of us have figured out that yes, use the chat version of whatever AI LLM we're using to help us with these prompts, and then use the agent to do the work. So what I was talking about yesterday is I see on social media people using multiple agents for their projects. And my first thought was, who do you work for? What are you building? Do you work for NASA? Like, what are you trying to put a man on the moon? What are you doing? Why do you need multiple agents? Yesterday, it finally clicked. Oh, yeah, it's because you have multiple agents connected to your repo, to your project. And so you have one agent to chat. You probably have one agent to actually write the code and another agent to do the testing. Like, I kind of get it now. That makes sense. So I was like, okay, I guess I could go sign up for Anthropic and we could have Claude on one end and we could have Codex on the other end. But then I immediately remembered, oh yeah, the prompt engineering is probably going to take the most resources. It's the conversation, the requirements gathering, the back and forth. Um, that's really what I'm worried about. Wasting those resources on those conversations. I mean, they're not a waste. If they're important, you have to have them. But I hope you can see my point that in the browser-based ChatGPT, I'm not running into any limits. So last night I figured out, and I already had ChatGPT connected to my GitHub repository, but I was not fully using it in its full capacity. There was no capacity period. I wasn't using it. ChatGPT, browser-based ChatGPT, has access to my repo. If I put the link to the repo in the chat, it's got access to the repo. So whatever we do in Codex, and I was trying to get into a good habit of doing this anyways, but now I'm for sure going to do it. After Codex is done running the prompt and doing the thing that we tell it to do, we're going to commit and push immediately to the repo. And then I'm going to come back to ChatGPT and say, okay, go look at the repo. What do we do next? Because the tedious part is that it doesn't have access to the files, and I have to upload the files every time. So it gives me a list of files that it needs to look at, and I have to upload them again. And then 3 chats later, I have to upload another set of files. We don't have to do that anymore. So now I have both ends of ChatGPT connected to this repo. ChatGPT can also write to the repo. It doesn't need to, but it can. So if it's got a big change, or if it's got like multiple lines that need to be changed, it can make those changes and commit directly to the repo. Or we could set up a feature branch if we want to. Or I could just say, rewrite the markdown file and I'll copy and paste it and I'll take care of it. So we've got options. So I figured this out in a different chat, and then I came back over to the original Jane Austen database requirements chat. And I just said, hey, confirming that you have access to the repo now that I've discovered a better way for us to work together. Yes, confirmed, I can access the Jane Austen database through GitHub connection, including the main branch and repository contents. I mean, come on. I also have push admin level access through the connector so I can read the repo for analysis and when you explicitly want me to make changes. That should make this workflow much better. You can ask me to review the current repo state, compare files, or draft the next codex prompt against what's actually there instead of uploading individual files every time. And I was like beyond excited, and I was like, this is such a relief. Seriously, this removes so much friction from this project. Now you can say things like review the current requirements in database design, check what codex changed, or write the next prompt based on the repo as it exists now, and I can work from the actual source instead of us passing files back and forth manually. For this Jane Austen project especially, that's going to make the paragraph chunk pivot much easier to manage because we can review the requirements, schema, importer, parser, and reports together as one code base because we have this big change now to make for this project. We sort of figured out at the end of the day yesterday that we are not going to try to make the chunks out of sentences because it's just too complex. The punctuation, the Mr., the Mrs., the quotes, the ellipses, the em dashes, it is making it too complex to accurately identify what is or isn't a sentence. So instead, we're going to move up one level and it's going to be a paragraph because Codex was able to identify the paragraphs and has been able to go through and count more than once and confirm that the paragraph counts match. So it's much better for us to take that approach, but we have a couple of files that we have to change. I mean, that's like a big change in the requirements. And now ChatGPT can just do it, and I don't have to hunt and peck and try to find individual lines or passages. I'm just so happy I figured this out yesterday. And so to confirm, I said for future projects, do I just put a link to the repo in the chat once, or do I specifically connect the repo somewhere in this conversation? For future projects, the easiest thing is exactly what you just did. Paste the GitHub repo link into the conversation once and tell me that's the repo we're working on. Because your GitHub connection is already available to me, you don't need to separately connect each repository to each chat. The URL tells me exactly which repo you mean, and I can use the GitHub connection to access it. So a new project can start as simply as, here's the repo we're working on. Then later in that conversation, you can say things like review what codex just changed or look at the current requirements. If we start a completely new conversation and the repo isn't clear from context, dropping the link again is the cleanest way to remove any ambiguity. And you can continue using the distinction we established earlier. Repo access doesn't mean repo modification. Yeah, I don't want ChatGPT to just start committing to the repo. I want it to be on a case-by-case basis. You can tell me, review it, but don't change anything. Give me the markdown and I'll update it locally, or explicitly ask me to make changes when that's what I want. I mean, come on. This is incredible. This is, I don't know, I'm just so happy. So I haven't tried it yet. I was waiting for you. We're gonna do it together. Yeah, so this is what we're going to do today. Hopefully this will move things along a lot faster. So let's say good morning to the chat, shall we? Let me pop the chat out and get it ready because I know that there's a couple people here. Whoopsies, not what I wanted to do. Hang on. Okay. What is this? I don't know what that is. Okay. All right. And Malik Robinson is here. Go Elmo, our mod in the chat. And Stamp is here. Hello, good morning. How are you? I'm doing well. Stampsack says, I'm currently looking for a job as a software engineer, but I'm about to graduate with a degree in computer engineering. Well, good luck. The job market is tight. So I think that you live overseas, Thailand, if I'm right about that, if my memory is serving me. I don't know what the job market is like for you where you live. It's a little tight here in the US right now. You didn't ask, but if you're looking for advice job seeking, search local. My observation on LinkedIn is that the big, like, national remote positions are wildly competitive. Be open to a hybrid or an on-site position. Be open to that, because so many people are going after the fully remote positions. You might have better luck if you're willing to be on site. And listen, a job is a job. We gotta pay the real, gotta pay the bills, gotta pay the rent. So if you're looking for advice, I don't know, maybe you don't care. Hey, do me a favor. Would you be so kind as to like this video if you haven't already? It helps the algorithm. It helps get it pushed out to more people who might be interested in this type of content. Subscribe if you're new here. I'm here every Saturday and Sunday at 10:30 a.m. Central Standard Time. I often stream during the week. Lately, I've been streaming at noon on Fridays, and I'm also going to start streaming on LinkedIn on Thursdays. I'll make a banner for LinkedIn. Speaking of which, okay, so this week is a little bit of an anniversary. On Tuesday this week, let me make sure I have the date correct. Yes, Tuesday this week is August 11th. August 11th is my 2-year anniversary of streaming on YouTube. I'm not going to do like a celebration stream or anything like that. I'm just going to go live on Tuesday and we're going to have a normal work day. So probably at noon Central Standard Time on Tuesday. What I would like to do is prep for the Thursday LinkedIn live stream. Specifically, I want to prepare a workflow, some prompts, and definitely a GitHub repo to show people how they can connect codecs and use basically an agentic workflow to audit a current project and make improvements. So we are going to prepare for that. We're going to write the prompts, use ChatGPT, come up with a system, sort of build a little presentation, and then that's what I'm going to do on Thursday on LinkedIn. And we are going to audit the projects that we've done on this channel. And there's plenty to choose from. There's like 25, 24, 25 vanilla front end projects. So we're going to come up with a system, build a repo, write the prompts, and put together a little presentation together. And we're going to do that on Tuesday. I'm also thinking that whatever we get done this weekend, I think that I'm going to take a break from the Jane Austen database, and I would like next weekend to get started just building getting back to a nice vanilla landing page. I need a little palette cleanser. We've been doing we went straight from the YouTube transcript database into the Jane Austen database, and I personally don't feel any urgency to get the Jane Austen database done in a set amount of time. It's taking a long time. It's more complex than the YouTube transcript database. I have not planned out the front end yet for the Jane Austen database. So I think we're just going to take a break for a couple of weeks and build a landing page. I have a design in mind that I would like to start working on next weekend. So that's what I have coming up for the next week. If you are into that type of thing, if you enjoy this type of content, subscribe. It helps the channel grow and I would appreciate it. So there's that. And Stampsack says, I have a question. When you write code, which device do you use? I have a MacBook Pro. So that's what I use. I also have an iMac. I don't use it as much. It's kind of like my backup computer. So, but I use a MacBook Pro. So that's what I enjoy using. I was a Windows PC person for a long time, and then I switched to Mac in 2015, and that was a good choice. I like it. I'm not like basically I all my products are Apple products, MacBook Pro, iPhone, iPad. Trust me, I'm not like an Apple enthusiast. It's just how it worked out. It's just convenient. So, um, there's that. Okay, are we ready? Are we ready for this? Let's do it. Okay, so the repo is up to date, and here's how we know that. This little toggle up here tells us the repo is up to date. So let's ask ChatGPT what we need to do next. Great. Let's get started updating the requirements to reflect that the chunks should be paragraphs. How should we start? Thinking, I guess. Okay. I'd start by reviewing the current requirements document and changing only the decisions affected by the paragraph chunk pivot. I would not rewrite or tighten the whole thing. One wrinkle. I just checked the repo and I don't see requirements.md on main. The current docs directory contains the architecture decisions, database design, book, but no requirements document. Where's the, I don't remember where we put it. It's, let's just copy the relative path. Here's the path. Should I move it? If it can see the whole repo. Okay. So we'll put it in docs. Okay. Okay. At this point, it's become the project's canonical requirements document. It's no longer just a job prompt dependency. That gives you a clean documentation set. Then jobs can remain what its name suggests. Prompts jobs give you give codex, while docs contains the durable project documentation. I would move it rather than copy it. Got it. Once you've moved it, tell me, and I'll read the current version directly from the repo and we can review. Okay, so that means I have to commit this so it can read the repo because it's not reading my local copy. That is fine. Small price to pay. Moving requirements to new folder. And I also have our repo pulled up. Okay. Okay, moved and commit pushed. Perfect. Okay. I can see the moved requirements on main now, and after reading it, the paragraph pivot is actually very contained. Most of the document stays exactly as is. I see 4 areas that need substantive changes. The goal: change the search filter function from matching sentence chunks to matching paragraph chunks, and change the e-reader target language accordingly. Number 2, import process database stores. Stop parsing, storing sentence chunks as searchable entities. Paragraph becomes the chunks. I think we should discuss whether sentence count remains metadata before removing it. It can exist as descriptive metadata without driving the database structure. Number 3, search result granularity and search execution. One result becomes one matching paragraph. Multiple matching paragraphs equals multiple results. The result needs enough book, chapter, paragraph information to open the e-reader at that paragraph. Number 4, character and location filter semantics. Canonical names and aliases are matched against the paragraph, not a sentence. There are a few straightforward terminology replacements, such as parses metadata and sentence chunks, becoming parses metadata and paragraph chunks. But I don't want to blindly search and replace sentence everywhere because some sentence information might legitimately remain in the metadata. There are 2 requirements I'd also add based on what we decided today. Rather than merely replacing terminology, paragraph chunks are logical prose paragraphs, not physical lines from the Gutenberg text. Hard-wrapped lines within a paragraph are joined during the import. So that's the individual lines in the plain text document. And illustration and decorative blocks are not searchable paragraph content, but their removal must preserve paragraph boundaries so prose on either side is never joined. The second requirement comes directly from what we just discovered in Pride and Prejudice, chapters 28 and 61. One thing I would not put into the requirements yet is the front-end excerpt behavior we discussed. Yeah, I agree with that. Because that's all front-end behavior. It doesn't need to go into the importer. We don't need to confuse codex with any of that yet. Whether a search result displays the entire paragraph or a shortened context excerpt is presentation. The requirement can simply say that the API returns the matching paragraph. Later, you can decide how much of it to show, so we're in good shape. Next, I suggest I give you the exact edits I recommend for the requirements document section by section without touching the repo. You can review the language. We just adjust anything you don't like, and only then do we move on to database design. So I don't want to go section by section. I wanted to just print a new requirements document. Can you just print a new requirements.md for me to copy and paste? Yep, perfect. That way, when I copy and paste this in, VS Code will show us which lines changed. And this whole thing is still marked down. It gets cut off because it puts in these little backticks for code blocks, but this is all part of the just making sure. Okay, so let's go to docs. Here's our requirements. And I don't think we need this. Well, hang on, let's look. Let's check. And we don't need this. So we can see that This changed, this changed. This is the same. Oh, and there we go. This all stayed the same. This changed. This is the new section, paragraph chunk semantics. This stayed the same. This line changed. This line changed. So everything looks good. Open keyword search, character dropdown, location dropdown, book title dropdown. Yep, so this updated, good. Yes, this is working. This is working. I like this. Here's the search result granularity. So these all changed. This stayed the same. This is new information, I think. I think this is new. These are updated. See, these were a lot of changes. I don't think we need this. Yeah, there. Okay, so now I'm going to commit this and push it up to the repo, and we will have chat check it. ChatGPT will check it. Here's the other thing, and I saw this in a reel. If you let ChatGPT push to your repo, they're going to be listed on the repo as a contributor. So I'm being pretty open about the fact that, I'm obviously building this entire thing in public. So it wouldn't bother me for this project to have ChatGPT listed as a contributor. But if that's something you want to keep to yourself, you don't want to advertise, think carefully about the fact that if you connect your GitHub to ChatGPT to read the repo, think carefully about how you want those changes to get done. If you want to let it just push directly to your repo or give you the changes so you can make the changes. I'm just saying. I think it's a consideration. So, okay, done. Requirements have been pushed so you can confirm. Okay. It's there. Isn't it? Did I not push? Hang on. Oh, I didn't push. Git push origin main. I committed. I did not push. Okay. Okay. There it is. Oops. Okay. I just pushed. Okay. Yes. Okay. So I checked the important pieces. Goal now defines paragraph chunks. Paragraph chunk semantics clearly defines logical paragraphs versus physical Gutenberg lines. Please. Okay. Where were we? Illustration decorative content is excluded without joining prose across it. Sentence boundaries explicitly do not define chunks. Database storage now calls for paragraph chunks. FTS operates on paragraphs. Search result granularity is paragraph level. Front-end highlighting and e-reader resolution are paragraph based. Character location matching is paragraph level. Sentence counts remain metadata. Sentence counts remain metadata, but are no longer first-class searchable entities. Everything aligns with the decision we just made. I don't see anything that needs another requirements edit right now. Next, docs database design. That's where the more consequential change happens because we need to translate this requirement into the actual relational FTS model. Okay, so great. Do you want to just print the database design.md update in its entirety and I'll replace it. Okay, I pulled the current database design markdown file first. So this is a revision of the design we actually have, not a new design from memory. The major change is removing sentences and sentences underscore FTS and making paragraphs the canonical reader search entity. I also removed the now resolved analysis path issue and the sentence tokenizer question from unresolved decisions. I am not changing the actual SQL schema.sql yet. This document describes what we want Codex to implement next. And again, we have like a formatting thing that we'll have to just make sure is okay. So this is a very long document. Okay, so we actually need to copy this. And we'll just have to make sure that we fix some formatting, which is this. And this, I think. Let's make sure. I'm honestly just looking for mistakes. I don't see any glaring mistakes. I'm kind of looking at the mini map here over on the right. So I think formatting wise, we're okay. Okay. So let's push this up to the repo and we'll have ChatGPT check it. I always do a git status first. It's just a habit. I'm almost always confirming which branch I'm on, even though right now I only have one branch. It lets me confirm what files were changed. So we'll do git add, git commit, and we'll say updating the database design. And git push origin main. All right. And we'll just confirm that that got updated. Updating the database design. Okay, database design.md has been updated and pushed. Confirmed. Good. Isn't this going better? Isn't this smooth? Oh my gosh. The updated database design.md is on main, and the opening sections now reflect the paragraph-based model exactly as intended. Book, chapter, paragraph, with paragraphs FTS and no sentence entity in the core hierarchy. The next thing I'd update is schema.sql, but I would do that through Codex rather than by hand, because the schema change needs to stay synchronized with. Okay, so I'm guessing that's going to be a prompt, right? Because the schema change needs to stay synchronized with scaffold, table, expectations and tests, the importer code, FTS triggers, importer tests, importer documentation reporting. So I think our next move is to write a prompt 4B schema and importer revision prompt that says, in effect, the requirements and database designs have changed. Paragraphs are now the canonical chunks. Update the schema and existing importer implementation to match the approved documents. Remove sentence, tables, tokenization, add paragraph FTS, implement the illustration boundary behavior we identified, and rerun the full import. That should be much smaller and more targeted than rewriting prompt 4 from scratch. So I'm just going to ask it to give me prompt 4B in its entirety, and I will create that document. Great. Please give me prompt 4B in its entirety, and I'll create the prompt. So that's going to be, here's our jobs backend. So we'll do, what's it supposed to be called? Schema and importer revision. O4B schema and importer revision .md. Okay, I checked the current schema in importer structure first. So this prompt is grounded in what already exists. And schema.sql still has sentences FTS, and the importer is already split into bookparser.js, chapterparser.js, and database import.js. So let's just, and we're going to have to deal with this formatting again, which is fine. I'm not going to read this whole thing. Unless you want me to. I don't think I need to read the entire prompt, though. Everything is saved. If you would like to go look at the GitHub repository, you're welcome to do so. In fact, I will put it in the chat if you are interested. Okay, and it's huge. Look at how big this is. Okay. Done when. Okay, so I think this is where it's going to be cut off. So that's fine. So we're going to copy this entire response. We'll put it in here and we're going to take out the top part and we're going to take out the bottom part. And I can tell by looking sort of at the mini map here on the right that I'm not seeing any big glaring issues. Usually they would be highlighted over here. All right, so let's go ahead and commit this. We'll have ChatGPT just glance at it and confirm that it's correct, and then we will go ahead and run this prompt. So again, I always like to do a get status. Here, we'll clear the terminal. Do a get status, get add, git commit, new prompt 4B to update the, what is it, schema. We'll just call it the schema doc. And we'll push that up to main. What do we think so far? This is working. I think this is working for us, right? Okay. Up. Created and push. Please take a look and then I'll give it to Codex. You can find it. Okay. Okay. I reviewed the pushed prompt 4B and it matches the prompt we just drafted. I don't see anything I would change before giving it to Codex. The important pieces are all there. Paragraph model is clearly authoritative. Sentence tables tokenizer are explicitly removed. Paragraphs.txt and paragraphs underscore FTS are defined. The existing importer is to be refactored, not rewritten. Illustration blocks are excluded but preserve paragraph boundaries. The two Pride and Prejudice regression cases are called out. Paragraph counts remain the publication gate. Sentence counts remain metadata only. Atomic publication behavior is preserved. Tests and importer docs must be updated. API front-end deployment work is explicitly out of scope. So yes, I'd run this as is. Okay. So let me grab the relative path. Hang on, you probably can't see this. Stop. Jobs, backend. So I'm just going to copy the relative path. You'll have to trust that it was in the dropdown. And we'll go to Codex. And we'll say, please read and follow the instructions here. Okay. And make sure that it can locate everything. I mean, it's pretty quick about telling me if I got something wrong, so I think it's must have found it. How are we doing on resources since yesterday? Let's check. Looks like we're at 100% and we have a reset if we need it. So this expires in 4 days. So if we run out of juice anytime in the next 4 days, we can reset. Okay, I'll restart from the revised 4B prompt and treat the current documentation as authoritative. I'm first rereading every prerequisite it names. It was a big list. Then I'll revise the existing schema importer in place and run the full test, audit, import, and database validation sequence. The revised design is unambiguous. Paragraph text is now canonical, while the existing sentence counts remain provenance only. I'm checking the current generated failure report and implementation details next, especially the 2 Pride and Prejudice illustration cases, so the refactor preserves all validated behavior outside sentence handling. Okay, so far so good. All right. And once again, let's do this while this is working. Let's Google what is the usage limit for Chat GPT. Am I on plus? Hang on, let me check. What am I on? Yes, I'm on plus. Okay, I didn't know if something sensitive would pop up. For ChatGPT plus browser / chatting. I don't know a better way to ask that question. Oh, interesting. Okay. There is a limit. ChatGPT Plus gives you 160 messages every 3 hours for standard flagship models, plus a manual allowance of up to 3,000 messages per week for advanced reasoning thinking models. Core chat and model limits. Standard messages, 160 messages every 3 hours, which is how much an hour? Let's break this down. So 160 divided by 3. No, 160 divided by 3. So that's about 53 messages per hour divided by 2. That's 26 messages every 30 minutes divided by 2. That's 13 messages every 15 minutes. I don't think I don't, but that's like 20, okay. It's not in a 24-hour period. It's every 3 hours. Okay. Fallback behavior. Once you hit your limit, your chat automatically downgrades to a faster, lighter version, such as a mini instant fallback model until your rolling window resets. So I bet that this happens silently. Interesting. Reasoning thinking modes. Up to 3,000 messages per week when manually selecting deeper thinking modes. Features and tool caps. DAL-E image generation. I don't use that. File uploads up to 80 files every 3 hours. I obviously don't do this. Exact caps are dynamic and shift based on current global server demand and system load. Interesting. How did I just not Google this correctly before? Because I've never found this. I've never found this. So this is good to know. Um, I need to keep an eye on. See it, I always just do the default. So should we try medium? I never change this. Faster, smarter. Um, so this is from September 2025. Oh, here's from a year ago. ChatGPT Plus gives you 80 messages every 3 hours on GPT 4.0 and up to 40 messages every 3 hours on GPT 4. So here's March 2025. Here's April 2027. What are ChatGPT's current usage limits plus? I feel like I tried to find this information before and I didn't find this at all. Did I just not ask that question correctly before? Here's April 2020. Oh, that's 2025. 2 days ago, CNET. What's this? You can now have unlimited text chats without paying for ChatGPT. OpenAI is upgrading its default options for free and paying. Hang on. Go away. For free and paying ChatGPT users. Your ChatGPT usage limits are about to get loosened if you're a free user. OpenAI said on Thursday that it's giving free users unlimited text chats and the default model for paying users is getting upgraded. Usage limits are one of the biggest annoyances of using AI chatbots and other products. If you don't pony up for the $20 paid subscription, or if your workplace doesn't pay for an enterprise plan, you probably run into messages on ChatGPT telling you that you've reached your limit for the day. Interesting. Okay, so this is how I must not have run into the limits because I've never had a message saying I reached my limit for the day. I was just thinking about all the times where I felt like ChatGPT was literally getting dumber. And I was wondering if in the background it was just silently downgrading me or throttling me, basically. Interesting. Now, these limits for text only chats will be removed for free users. Limits on image generation, file uploads, and voice tools will still apply. Free and paying users will have a new default model, GPT 5.6 Luna, the lightweight version in the company's newest model family. Luna has performed better than the current default GPT 5.5 instant, with OpenAI reporting that factual errors were 62% less common with Luna. There's also going to be a new Think button available for free users and subscribers on the $8 per month Go plan. This is supposed to help the AI answer harder questions by taking more time to process an answer. Plus and Pro users, $220 and $200 per month subscribers, respectively, should also see some improvements when they use GPT 5.6 Soul, the heavyweight new model. OpenAI said it tweaked Soul to be better at everyday tasks like web research, writing, that'll be the day, planning and making decisions. It should give honed or focused answers, less unnecessary info and formatting. The number of times I have had to say stop summarizing My short-term memory isn't that bad. Stop summarizing. There will also be a slider tool where you can increase the amount of technical firepower you want in your prompt, like upgrading from GPT 5.6 high to extra high to pro. Luna will be the new default model starting this week, while the unlimited chats, new think button, and slider should be released next week. Don't panic if you don't see them right away. Rollouts can sometimes take a few days. While unlimited chats might be nice if you use AI for school or work, it could be an issue for some vulnerable groups. We've seen more than a few cases and subsequent lawsuits against AI companies where people who use AI chatbots excessively develop and exacerbate some mental health issues. In one lawsuit, a mother alleges that OpenAI failed to enact necessary safeguards in order to keep her daughter engaged with ChatGPT. It's a similar concern that is underpinning several lawsuits against social media companies, saying they had deliberately addictive designs that resulted in harm for young and vulnerable users. I could see where people might think that. OpenAI says it has added guardrails to the models so they avoid romantic role play. Hang on one moment. Allergies. Okay. OpenAI says it has added guardrails to the models so they avoid romantic role play, age restricted challenges, and presenting itself as a substitute for real world relationships for users under 18. Disclosure: Ziff Davis, CNET's parent company, in 2025 filed a lawsuit against OpenAI alleging it infringed Ziff Davis copyrights in training and operating its AI systems. Interesting. Okay. Um, all right. Well, um, we'll see what happens. All I know is I feel like I talk to ChatGPT a lot. It's like I do have days where I'm like, I don't want to, I need a week off. I'm not going to use this for like a few days because I just feel like I'm not making decisions myself anymore. After, an adult who has spent decades forming her own thoughts and making decisions, like why am I asking ChatGPT these questions? It's a great strategic partner. It's great at helping me sort of like develop a strategy, especially when it comes to social media and YouTube, things like that. But I do find myself just having these moments where I'm like, I don't want to talk to ChatGPT for like a week. I need a week off. So, but this is good to know. Okay, well, that was fun. And it looks like we're done. Let's see what happened here. Okay, so implemented prompt 4B, the importer correctly stopped at the required paragraph audit condition and did not replace the existing database. Key results: automated tests 13 out of 13 passed, chapter audit 6 out of 6 books, 269 out of 269 chapters passed. Parsed paragraphs 10,011 versus 10,062 metadata total. 5 books match exactly. Pride and Prejudice 2,060 parsed versus 2,121 metadata across 39 mismatched chapters. Are there more chapters? Chapter 28, 20 prose paragraphs versus metadata's 23. All 3 illustration blocks are correctly excluded. Chapter 61, fixed at 14 out of 14. Terminal illustrated the end is excluded. No staging files remain. The previously published database was untouched. The revised schema includes paragraphs.txt, external content, paragraphs underscore FTS, and insert, delete, update triggers. It contains neither sentences nor sentences underscore FTS, controlled import FTS foreign key integrity alias, and atomic publication tests all passed. The detailed retained excluded book source block evidence is in the import report. Implementation document is in the importer.md, and the revised schema is in schema.sql. Okay, so here's the other thing. I could commit or push directly from Codex, but I think it's going to add Codex as a contributor to the repo. Why am I so hesitant to allow that when I am openly using Codex? I don't know why. I don't know. My fingers are working. There's nothing wrong with my fingers. So I'm going to do it myself because I just want to. So, okay. So we'll get status. So just an FYI to you, if you are using Codex or ChatGPT to help you, you can still push yourself. You do not need to push via the app or via ChatGPT if you don't want them listed as a contributor. So just an FYI, and we'll check this, we'll confirm. So git add, git commit, updates after prompt 4b. Git push origin main. Okay. And now we can go back to Codex and we can see changes 0, 0, nothing to commit or push. So Codex is correctly seeing that we just did the push ourselves. And we can see here, new prompt 4b update. And I am the only contributor to the repo because I didn't push via ChatGPT or Codex. So it's just something to keep in mind. You do you, but it's just something I can keep in mind. Okay, there's a couple things in the chat here. So StampsX said, I mostly use 3 main AI tools: Gemini, ChatGPT, Codex, and Cursor. Interesting. I haven't used anything but ChatGPT. I mean, I guess I should at least try to do a couple different things, shouldn't I? I haven't felt like I've needed to use something else, although as I say that and I think of all the times that I've been so deeply frustrated by AI or the results that I'm getting. So I don't know why I haven't checked. And Mr. Cami TV is here and says, hello, welcome. Monique Robinson is here. Monique's also our mod in the chat. And Malik Robinson says that he can confirm he noticed he's getting unlimited chats a day for a few months now. So you must not be paying for it. Are you paying for the plus version of ChatGPT? I'm thinking that you're not. So initially the reason I signed up for the Pro version, or not Pro, Plus, was because remember in 2024, 2025, when GPTs were all the rage, you created custom GPTs and they were really pushing that. And I don't think people do the GPTs anymore at all. That was a thing like a year and a half ago, almost 2 years ago. Malik says, nope, still on free. So do you also use Codex, Malik? Or do you just use ChatGPT? And do you have ChatGPT connected to your GitHub? Just curious. Okay, so now I'm going to copy the response that we got here, and I'm going to say just pushed the codex results. Here's the response. And StampStack says because it's easy to use, convenient, and free of bugs and errors. What is? Gemini and Cursor? I'm not sure which one you're talking about, StampStack. Okay, so here's what I put in. I said I just pushed the codex results. Here's the response. I basically copied and pasted in the response from codex. And I looked at the push report and the Pride and Prejudice metadata report, and I think we've learned something important. The new parser is probably doing what we told it to, and the remaining mismatch is now almost certainly about how the Pride and Prejudice metadata counts were produced, not about the paragraph chunk architecture itself. 5 books match their paragraph counts exactly. Pride and Prejudice is the only outlier. 2060 parsed versus 2,121 expected, with 39 mismatched chapters. What makes this interesting is that the original Pride and Prejudice metadata report explicitly says, a paragraph is a non-empty prose block separated by blank lines, and standalone illustration caption blocks are excluded. That is exactly the rule we are implementing now, and yet the current parser following that rule comes up 61 paragraphs short. So I would not change the parser yet. The report also confirms chapter 61 is now exactly right at 14 paragraphs, which strongly supports the end illustration fix. Chapter 28 is now 20 versus the metadata is 23, despite all 3 illustration blocks being excluded correctly. That tells us our earlier theory that excluding illustrations alone would make chapter 28 line up was incomplete. The most useful next question is, what did the original metadata job count as separate paragraphs that the current deterministic parser is joining? That is a much narrower audit than what we had before. For example, chapter 1 expects 36 and parses 34 while excluding 3 illustration blocks. Chapter 2 expects 28 and parses 27. Chapter 3 expects 23 and parses 21. That pattern looks more like the old analysis recognized certain prose blocks as separate paragraphs that the current parser is combining. I'd make the next task a Pride and Prejudice paragraph boundary audit only. Have Codex compare for a small representative set of mismatched chapters. Every retained logical paragraph, original source line ranges and blank lines, illustration positions, indented dialogue letters, any unusual markup or decorated blocks, exactly where the parser joins physical blocks. Okay, I don't think I'm going to read this whole thing. So it's suggesting a prompt for C to analyze and audit Pride and Prejudice. That's fine. Let's go ahead and have it write the prompt. I'm not going to read this whole thing. Great. Please write the prompt for C. Whoops. For C, and I'll create it. So this is going to be 4C Pride and Prejudice audit. O4C Pride and Prejudice audit.md. So here's a focused 4C audit prompt designed to answer the paragraph count question without changing parser behavior yet. And it looks like the formatting worked in this block. Nice. I'm not going to read the entire prompt. It's pretty long. Let's go ahead and commit. Git status. Git add. Git commit. New prompt 4C for Pride and Prejudice audit. Git push origin main. All right. I'll make sure. So this has been pushed. Okay, new prompt has been pushed. I'll give it to Codex. Okay. So I'm going to copy the relative path. Please read and follow the instructions in this file. Okay. All right. And I am freezing. I have to turn down the air conditioning and I have to put something on because I'm really cold. So for using the fast high effort, I don't know. Oh, okay. Okay, so it looks like it kind of found the problem here. This is going much better though, right? It's still kind of tedious, but it is going much better. Oh, let's see what. So StampStack says yes, after using ChatGPT and Cursor, which AI should I use? Oh, are you asking me? I'm asking you what you use. You made a comment that it's easy to use, convenient, and free of bugs and errors. So which model are you saying that about? I mean, I don't think I'm the person that you should ask because I've only used one. I've never used Cursor. I've never used Gemini. I've only ever used OpenAI and ChatGPT. So I'm asking you which one is your favorite because you've used more than me. And Malik says, I do not have ChatGPT connected, no, and I only use Copilot for GitHub. I don't know why I prefer GitHub or Copilot for GitHub work. I like ChatGPT for questions. You know what? I don't think that there's a right or a wrong way to do it. I think there's just a way that works for you, like a repeatable workflow. If you can come up with a repeatable workflow that works for you and helps you consistently get the work done, I think that that's all that matters. So, and StampStack is signing off. Goodbye. Have a good rest of your day, and I hope to see you soon. So, okay, let's see what's going on here. Audit complete. The 61 paragraph difference is fully explained by the illustration caption payload blocks counted by the historical metadata convention. One underscored copyright block in chapter 28. Okay, so let's go ahead and commit. Here's the audit. And then here's the script that it wrote to do the audit, right? Close these. So we'll go ahead and commit this. Audit results for 4Z. Git push, origin, main. Okay. And then let's make sure that that got pushed up. Here's our prompt, audit results for 4C. I'm seeing both of these in the right place. And then let's grab the response and we'll say audit results have been pushed. Here's the codex response. We'll just copy her in there. I'm liking this. This is working for me. This workflow is working for me. I'm into it. So, yeah. Okay, I reviewed the pushed audit report and I agree with Codex's recommendation. This is a very clean result. The 61 paragraph mismatch is fully accounted for by non-prose material inside Pride and Prejudice illustration containers. 60 caption payload blocks plus one oddly formatted copyright block. The reconstructed historical counting behavior reproduces all, oh nice, 2,121 metadata paragraphs and every chapter level count, which is strong evidence that the metadata counts were produced by a block-oriented filter rather than by the prose-only rule documented in the metadata report. The current parser is doing the right thing for the architecture we approved. It keeps actual prose paragraphs, excludes complete illustration decorative regions, preserves paragraph boundaries across them, and does not turn captions or copyright notices into searchable e-reader content. The audit found no missing prose boundary rule. So I would not touch the parser. The next move should be a very narrow metadata correction job. Update Pride and Prejudice book paragraph count from 2,121 to 2,060. Update the paragraph count for the 39 affected chapters to the current parser counts. Leave sentence counts untouched. Leave all other metadata untouched. Do not modify the canonical text. Produce a diff report of exactly what changed. Then rerun prompt 4B's import so the 6-book database can finally publish. I'd make that prompt 4D regenerate Pride and Prejudice paragraph metadata. And importantly, I'd have Codex derive the new chapter counts from the approved current parser, not manually copy numbers out of the audit report. That keeps the metadata tied to the actual deterministic parser we intend to use going forward. If you want, I can write 4D in its entirety now. Yes, please do. Okay, so this is where we're going to call this. Regenerate Pride and Prejudice paragraph metadata 4D. Okay. 04D. Regenerate Pride and Prejudice paragraph data. Yeah, okay. And there's the formatting issue that we are getting used to. This is not a small prompt. Okay, I think our formatting is good. Let's go ahead and commit this. Git commit. New audit for Pride and Prejudice. Paragraph count. Okay. So here's prompt 4D. I'm going to go ahead and copy the relative path. I will let ChatGPT know. Okay, prompt 4D has been pushed. Please check it and confirm. Then I'll give to Codex. Let's make sure it actually. Oh, whoops, did I not? Git push origin main. Oh, new audit for Pride and Prejudice paragraph count. Was that my commit message? New audit for Pride and Prejudice paragraph count. Yes. Confirmed. And it matches the 4D prompt we drafted. I don't see anything I'd change before giving it to Codex. Isn't that refreshing? Because it's usually like, oh yeah, let's change 3 more things. It correctly keeps the scope narrow, regenerate only the Pride and Prejudice paragraph metadata from the approved parser, preserve sentence and unrelated metadata, update the metadata report, create a regeneration audit report, do not run the full importer or publish a database yet. All right. Please read and follow the instructions in this file. Okay. Well, folks, here it is. It's the future of software engineering. I'm pretty sure this is it. So, okay, one moment. So sorry, I have allergies. Okay. How are we doing on? We're doing great. 87%. Okay. All right. Maybe now, while we're waiting, is a good time, a good midway reminder to kindly ask that you like the video if you haven't already. It helps the algorithm. It helps get this pushed out to more people who might be interested in this type of content. If you're new here, welcome. My name is Angela. We generally do a lot of vanilla landing pages, websites on this channel, HTML, CSS, and JavaScript. The last several weeks, we've been diving into more agentic workflows because it's important. It's a part of development now. It's the future of development and engineering. And I'm learning it. You're learning it. We're learning it together. And we're having a good time. Subscribe if you're new here. I'm here every Saturday and Sunday from beginning at 10:30 a.m. Central Standard Time. And I often pop in during the week. I'll be here on Tuesday this week, August 11th. That is the 2-year anniversary of when I started streaming back in on August 11th, 2024. I remember it was a Sunday afternoon and I thought it was terrifying and nobody watched, but that's okay. And now here we are, hundreds of hours of educational content later and all these fun projects. So yeah, if you're into this type of thing, liking and subscribing really helps, and I would appreciate it. And starting this week on Thursday at noon, which will be August 13th, I will be going live on LinkedIn. So that'll be a little more structured. That's going to be a little more, the Tuesday stream on YouTube will be, we're going to prep for the Thursday stream on LinkedIn. We're going to build the repo, write the prompts, come up with like a system. And then that's what I'm going to do on Thursday on LinkedIn. So it should be a lot of fun. All right, let's see what we have. Regeneration completed successfully. Paragraph total. So I'm losing track of whether or not this is good or bad. I think it said that it went from 2121 to 2160, which is what we wanted. Chapters changed 39, chapters unchanged 22, all 61 chapters detected, sentence counts and unrelated metadata unchanged, canonical sources parsers, schema, and 4C audit unchanged, no database was published, npm run import was not run tests. 16 out of 16 passed. Okay, so let's push this up to Git. And again, we're doing it ourselves, so we don't have ChatGPT or Codex as a contributor, because apparently that matters to me. I can't put my finger on why, because I'm doing all of this in public. I'm not even trying to hide the fact that I am basically prompt engineering, agentic workflowing, vibe coding the back end and the API of this app, but I just really don't want ChatGPT or Codex or OpenAI as a contributor in my repo. Why is that? What's wrong? What's blocking me from, why would I stream this entire process and openly show all of this and still not want it to be a contributor in my repo? I feel like we could analyze that. The stigma. I think there's a stigma. I don't know why I feel that way though. Okay. Git add. Git commit. Audit report for Pride and Prejudice chapters. Git push. No. Okay. So we'll copy the response and let's just confirm that this got pushed. Audit report for Pride and Prejudice chapters. Okay. Codex work has been pushed. Here's the response. Okay. I reviewed the pushed regeneration audit and the updated metadata JSON. Everything lines up with prompt 4D. The audit confirms 2121 to 2060 with exactly 39 changed chapters and 22 unchanged. All 61 chapters are detected and no non-paragraph metadata changes. The metadata JSON now has top-level paragraph count 2060 while preserving the existing sentence count as 5,899. And the rest of the metadata structure. So I'm comfortable calling 4D complete. The next step should be very small. Rerun the existing paragraph importer against the corrected metadata and verify that all 6 books now validate and publish successfully. I would not write another large implementation prompt for that. A short prompt for E, final import verification, and publication is enough. Wonderful. Okay. Great. Can you please write prompt for E? So this is final import verification. Final import verification dot MD. And we have weird formatting again. I wish they would fix that. This doesn't see it. It always says it's like a small, we're just gonna do like a little tiny thing. It's just gonna be like a little teeny tiny thing. And then it's, how many lines is this? 333 lines. Okay, well, to be fair, We'll take out the formatting. It's still 326 lines for just the little teeny tiny final step. Okay. So let's go ahead and push this. Commit and push. Final 4E prompt to verify import. Git push origin main. Okay. So let's grab the path. So we'll say prompt for E has been pushed. Please confirm, and I'll give it to Codex. Confirmed. I reviewed the pushed 4E final import verification, and it matches the prompt we drafted. The scope is right. Run tests, rerun the chapter audit, execute the existing importer, verify the expected 6 books, 269 chapters, 10,011 paragraphs, validate FTS integrity schema, and publish atomically if everything passes. It also correctly says not to change parser, schema, metadata, or architecture unless a genuine new regression appears. You can give it to Codex. Okay. Please read this file and follow the instructions. Should I be saying please and thank you? I don't know. Okay. Final import verification and publication. Are we getting close? Are we finally getting to a place where we're going to be able to actually run this importer? That's just the importer. We still have to like build the we still have to build the API, make sure that we have the endpoints that we like. We have to spend it's going to take a full session to just document the API. I mean, that's also a really important step where we just crack open Postman and we're documenting our endpoints and making sure that we're seeing the information that we want, right? So there is still a lot left to do on this project. I feel like it's a good decision to work on it over several weeks or several months and not try to jam it all in at once. I personally just, especially after going straight from the YouTube transcript database project directly into this, I just need to do something different. And there's no urgency. I feel like we will easily get this Jane Austen database done by the end of this year, no problem. But what's the rush? It's a big project. It's so much bigger than I thought it would be. I did not think it was going to be this complex. It makes perfect sense why it is turning out to be this complex. and I really want to get it right. I want it to turn out well. So it's okay. It's okay. So there's that. I should be thinking of things that we could talk about while we're waiting for these prompts to run. We already checked GPT usage limits. So if I wanted to use like Gemini, Google Gemini. It already knows who I am because I'm signed into Google. So I guess I would just go to Gemini and ask. It looks like kind of an identical experience to ChatGPT. Okay, so if I was crazy enough to give Google money, how much would it cost me? Compare plans. Okay. Malik Robinson is asking me, if you had your own AI agent, what would you call it? Well, funny you should ask because I have an idea for an agent. So let's be really clear. Maybe this is a question that we should ask. Like, let's be very clear about what an agent actually is, because Codex is not an agent. It's an app for tasks. So maybe that's the first thing that we should do. I don't know if I have a name for an agent. It would depend on what the agent's job was, but that's a good question. Okay. So I guess they've got some good pricing here. Starter, $7 per user per month, 30 gigs pooled storage, custom business email. Wait, do I already have? I pay for I have a Gmail, like a business account for email. So I wonder if I'm paying for this. They send me emails all the time and I don't really pay attention. For the best value, standard. Gemini AI assistant in Gmail, Docs, Meet, and more. AI powered deep research tools. Video meetings. I use Zoom. Google Vids. Professional quality AI video creation and editing. Google Vids. What is this? Like, what could this help me with? Google Workspace. Google Workspace migrate tool for seamless, secure data migration for your whole team. There is no team. E-signature, send and request digital signatures directly from docs and PDFs. Appointment booking pages, automatic scheduling for clients and customers. I'm using Calendly right now for that. Maybe see, I feel like I'm paying. I wonder if I'm paying for starter. I should really read those emails that they send me. I've been paying for a business email address and I use Google Workspace for my business email address for years. Um, This makes me think that that I have Starter. It's not this Gmail though, it's something else. So interesting. I'm curious about this. Google Vids, professional quality AI video creation and editing. You know what? I think this is just um like where you can generate videos, right? Oh shit. I'm so sorry. Thank you, Malik. Other scene unless it's showing, nope, not showing any sensitive info. I just forgot what scene I was on. Okay. So I was looking up the pricing. I was looking up the pricing for Google Workspace. I think I have the basic. Yeah. These are all the options for Google Gemini. I'm curious about this. Google Vids, professional quality AI video creation and editing. I don't really make AI videos. I don't have a need for them, but I'm curious about this. So I don't know. We'll see. And this looks like ChatGPT. This must just be the Google version of AI, Ask Gemini. So um Gemini Masterclass, everything you need to know. New Google Gemini update is insane. Gemini tutorial, how to use the Google AI ecosystem in 2026. I know somebody who uses Perplexity. I feel like there's just so many options. You kind of just have to, I feel like you just have to pick one and find a workflow. Um, yeah, okay. Okay, so this is ready to go. Schema verification passed. All required relational FTS tables and 3-paragraph triggers exist. Sentences FTS do not. The first publication attempt safely stopped because one punctuation-only paragraph produces no FTS vocabulary terms. The previous database remained byte identical and staging was cleaned. I corrected that narrow validator assumption without changing paragraph semantics or totals, added regression coverage, and reran the complete workflow successfully. There are 10,011 FTS content rows and 10,010 term-bearing documents, with the single punctuation-only row correctly indexing no terms. Okay, so let's go ahead and push this. And we'll have our friend look at it. Boy, we're getting to the end. I really didn't think this was gonna, I didn't think this was gonna take all day, but here we are. Okay. Um, import report finished. Git push origin main. Okay. Here's what we just pushed. Let's grab the response. Codex is finished and pushed. Here's the response. And No Flex Zone is here and says, hello, how you doing? I'm doing well. I'm hanging in there. How are you doing? Okay. I checked the pushed import report, and this is the result we wanted. The report shows success. All 6 books processed, all chapter and paragraph counts matching, and the database published. Oh, the database published successfully. A few important confirmations. 269 out of 269 chapters across the 6 books, 10,011 paragraphs total, 10,011 FTS rows, 10,010 term-bearing FTS documents with exactly 1 punctuation-only paragraph producing no index terms, SQLite integrity okay, foreign keys okay, FTS integrity and synchronization okay, illustration decorative exclusion okay, sentence schema objects absent, warnings none, and I agree with Codex handling of the punctuation only paragraph. That was a validator assumption problem, not a paragraph model problem. A row like 5 stars can legitimately exist in the relational content table while producing 0 FTS tokens. So changing the validator rather than deleting or altering that paragraph was the right fix. So I'd call prompts 4, 4B, 4C, 4D, 4E fully complete now. The importer phase is done. The next meaningful step is the API contract, which means we can finally move on to prompt 5 without carrying any unresolved parser database issues forward. Okay. I don't know. I'm about done. I'm kind of like I'm at my I'm at I'm at the end of my rope for today. Clearly we're able to do complex things. We have found a very efficient way to do complex things, and for that I am extremely grateful. And the work that is being done here, it's not a small thing. It is absolutely not lost on me, even though I feel like I'm just sort of a conduit, a go-between, a messenger between ChatGPT and Codex. We're still solving problems and figuring things out and getting things done, and for that I am grateful. I'm ready to move on with my day. But before we do that, well, first of all, Osloy is here, and I think Osloy is suggesting that any AI agent that I create is called Angela Intelligence. And yeah, Malik says Angela would be a funny agent. Let's do this. What is the difference between well, no, let's do this. Is Codex an agent or an app? Because I think it's an app and an agent is different. Here, AI overview. Oh, it is. It does consider itself an agent. Okay. Codex is primarily an AI coding agent, but OpenAI also provides a dedicated desktop and mobile application to manage it. The agent. Codex is an autonomous AI system built by OpenAI to handle software engineering tasks like writing code, refactoring, and fixing bugs. Okay, so Codex is an agent specifically for software engineering. I mean, I'm hard-pressed to think of what else I would use it for. The app. OpenAI offers a Codex desktop app for macOS and Windows, as well as integrations in ChatGPT, the terminal, and IDEs. The app serves as a command center where you can supervise, coordinate, and run multiple Codex agents in parallel. Okay, I guess it's saying that you could run multiple, these are the tasks that you could run in parallel. Okay, so let's do. Oh, excuse me. Normally I would mute for that, but it happens so fast. Ooh, it happens so fast. Okay. What is an AI agent? Also, every time I cough or sneeze, my dog barks at me as if she's the victim. I'm the victim. I'm the one that just had to cough or sneeze, not her. I'm the victim, but she's the one that is upset. I don't know why. Yeah, every single time, Osloy, it doesn't matter. Yeah, I'm gonna do something very mean. She she's very sensitive to like coughing, sneezing, sniffling, blowing my nose. I have a box of Kleenex sitting here on my desk. And even if I just come over and like if she sees me grab a Kleenex, she runs and starts barking. She just runs in circles barking. Yeah, because you're a goofball, aren't you? You're a goofball. Are you okay? I'm the one with the runny nose. I'm the victim, Heidi, not you. So I don't know what you're upset about. I'm the victim, okay? Okay. So what is an AI agent? An AI agent is an autonomous software system that uses an AI model, like a large language model, to reason, plan, and use external tools to complete multi-step tasks toward a specific goal without needing step-by-step human guidance. Chatbots are reactive AI agents. I actually started watching this video. I should finish that. I really want to build my own agent. Yeah, I get a cold and my dog is mostly affected. Truer words have never been spoken. Um, Heidi's the victim in every situation. So AI agents are proactive and goal-oriented. They operate in a continuous loop of reasoning, taking action like calling a tool or API, observing results, and adjusting their next step until the job is done. So like I said, I started watching this video. I should finish it. I would like to make my own agent. So I have an idea for but it's like mostly centered around my own workflow and the things that I do every day. So I don't know how I would make an agent. Yeah, I don't know. So, I think that's it for today. So I guess this means we have our database now. It says the database published successfully. So there should be data. There it is. Database, SQLite. Got it. All right. Well, I guess that's it for today. So tomorrow we'll start working on the API tomorrow. Um, you know, it's hard to say how far we're gonna get because I guess this took 2 full days. Today's Saturday. This took all yesterday and all today. Well, but it also took all last weekend too. I mean, yeah, we're 5 days into this now. I feel like we had the entire thing done in one weekend for the YouTube transcript database. But I mean, I see why this is a lot more complex. So, but I think that our new workflow works. I'm very happy with it. It means that we're committing more often, which I actually think is a good thing because it gives you a clean cutoff. If something happens or goes awry, it's easy to roll back to a certain point. So I think frequent commits are a good idea, but I also just think that we solved our problem of this thing where I have to constantly upload files and have it check things. So I'm very happy with this. I'm especially happy that I found a good workflow where I'm committing myself and I don't have, ChatGPT or Codex as a contributor on my repo because I don't know. I just don't want it as a contributor on my repo. But the good news is that I am perfectly comfortable doing my own commits. So it's like a non-issue. And so far, ChatGPT hasn't given us anything too complex. I think you can simply say, "Oh, just rewrite this file rather than having me change 5 things in this file. Just rewrite the file. I'll replace it, commit it. You can check it and make sure it's formatted or all the information's correct, and then we go from there." So I don't know. So Osloy is asking, what is the overall goal? Parsing public domain books into SQLite to what end? So it's going to be another e-reader. So it's going to be 2 things. It's going to be a filter, very similar to the YouTube transcript database, and it's going to be an e-reader. So I've read all 6 of the books, Jane Austen's books, and this is very nerdy, but there are times where I'm like, where did this happen in this book? I remember that they were talking about this, but where is that in the book? I want to reread that passage, or I want to reread that chapter to see if I'm remembering it correctly. So that was my thinking, that you would go to the filter, you would search keywords, maybe you would think of an exact match or just a set of keywords, and then you would get a result list of chapters where those keywords are highlighted. Then you could click on the results. You could go to that part of the book and it would be both a filter with results and it would be an e-reader. So let's say you filter, you find the thing you're looking for, you click on it, you go to that chapter, that paragraph in that chapter, and then you can just continue reading in the browser as an e-reader. We're also going to build a theme switcher with different colors, different fonts, different sizes. I think that's going to be super fun. So there's a lot to do here. There's a lot to do. Does that answer your question? It's going to be amazing. It's going to be amazing. Okay, come back tomorrow. We're going to work on the API. It's anybody's guess how long that's going to take. Everybody. Have a great rest of your day. Thank you for hanging out. Do all the YouTube things. It helps the channel grow and I would appreciate it. And I will see you all tomorrow. Bye-bye.